Have you ever tried to communicate with someone without speaking? If you've ever mouthed something across the room or used your body language to communicate, you've used some form of American Sign Language. The purpose of my speech is to inform the audience about the different aspects of speaking American Sign Language, most commonly known as ASL. Most people know someone who is deaf or hard of hearing. I went to high school with a girl who was entirely deaf, and experiencing how she communicates firsthand really helps me understand all the different aspects of sign language. American Sign Language is a form of communication primarily used by the deaf and hard of hearing using hand movements, facial expressions, and body language. The most primary aspect of communicating in sign language is the hand movements. According to the article Learning American Sign Language, ASL is considered a physical language relying mainly on dictionary of hand movements and gestures that function as words. There are ASL signs for a large portion of English spoken words. In her article, O'Krent stated that even though ASL was formed from American English, the grammar of syntax of ASL is completely different from English. There is also a slightly more complex way of communicating with gestures known as fingerspelling. Fingerspelling is where someone uses the ASL alphabet to spell out each and every word that he or she wishes to communicate. Although it is effective, the National Association of the Deaf states that fingerspelling does not work for long-term effective sign language. Another very important aspect of communicating through ASL is facial expressions. While it is possible to communicate through ASL without using facial expressions, the National Association of Deaf says that doing so may give a mixed message, be confusing, or misunderstood. The reason that facial expressions are so necessary is that just as in English, there are some signs that have more than one meaning or interpretation. One example of the importance of facial expressions that Miller gives in his article is signing the word funny. In a strictly literal sense, facial expressions would not be needed to convey the meaning. However, if someone was speaking statistically, his facial expressions would help to convey the figurative message, funny. Similarly to the importance of facial expressions, body language is a very big part of ASL. Just as facial expressions help to convey the figurative nature of the sign, body language helps to convey the emotion of the signs in ASL. Just like any other form of communication, a person's body language helps to show the emotions he or she is feeling. The National Association of the Deaf phrases it like this: for the most part, you can easily tell if two people are arguing, even if you cannot hear their conversation. In sign language, no part of their conversation is oral. Therefore, the body movement is tense or relaxed in nature of one's posture. The way one is standing and much, much more helps to create a fully immersive conversation. Overall, ASL is a language that requires many components in order to communicate effectively. The hand gestures or signs of the facial expressions and the body language of a person are all parts of speaking American Sign Language. Communication is a huge part of day-to-day life, and American Sign Language combines all physical aspects of communicating into a language for the deaf and hard of hearing.